All right, we are here with Ellie Preslar, the Chief Commercial Officer of Sierra Nevada Brewery. We're really excited to bring you the first iteration of the eBev 2025 interview series. And really also excited, Ellie. Thank you both for being here today and that you're going to be joining us at eBev in May.
I'm looking forward to it.
Terrific. Well, let's jump in.
Okay.
So, Ellie, with your extensive background in sales, marketing, and commercial strategy, how would you say you've seen the beverage landscape evolve over the last few years, and what are the biggest changes do you?
Yeah, I think change is constant, first of all. So I think as I've joined the industry, that hasn't felt, I'd say, that different in beverage than any of the other categories or segments I've worked in across my career. But I think, one of the things that is, people are maybe drinking differently and than they have in the past. Yes, there are more choice. I don't think they're necessarily drinking fewer beverages. They're just probably doing it a little bit differently as different choices, as new ingredients, new occasions continue to emerge. And we're constantly looking and understanding that. And what we all should do as folks who are in this industry is really understand what our drinkers and our consumers are looking for and how do we best fit a product with the occasion at the right time and place for our consumers and drinkers.
Terrific. And what would you say are some of those trends in terms of that evolving consumer behavior? We look at things like BFY and folks even exploring going on non-alcoholic drinks in general. What are some of the trends that you're looking at, and how are
Mhm.
you adapting to them?
Yeah, I think I'd say now more than ever, consumers are mixing multiple kind of beverages, styles, types in the same occasion at times. So I think, there has been this explosive growth, right, of non-alcoholic versions of what have traditionally been an alcoholic, right? Whether that be beer or malt based, or whether that be wine or spirit based, that have grown rapidly. And there's a lot written about that. And that is honestly amazing for us, but amazing for consumers, I think, frankly, to have great quality beverages in segments where maybe the quality historically wasn't as strong as it is now. And now there is broader selection. And what we see and what I see consumers doing is it's not that they're drinking necessarily less beer, but they're drinking non-alcoholic beer at the same time they might be drinking beer. And, just kind of extending the occasion and or frankly extending the beverages that they're drinking just in different ways with some of those segments.
Yeah, I think when you mention occasion, really what we see as why people have adult beverages, it's to come together. And I think
Yes.
offering more options certainly broadens the inclusivity.
It is. It's very much right. It's the community and social aspect of it that is, I think, why many of us that work in the industry love what we do, because we see the role that our beverages play and what can be, and usually are very meaningful occasions for people, and for our consumers, and even for ourselves.
So when we think about the increasing complexity of where we're reaching consumers and
Mhm.
conveniently getting product to them, whether it's e-commerce and direct to the consumer in the on-premise environment, traditional brick and mortar retail, or even if they visit the beautiful brewery behind you,
Yes.
um, what do you think are some of the challenges to navigate that effectively?
I think the important thing is as a brand to be consistent. So no matter whether someone's encountering our brand while they are visiting, one of our breweries, or whether they're doing it when they're shopping their local, grocer or their local independent, retailer, or whether they're at their favorite restaurant or, social spot of gathering, that the brand message that they see from us or from whatever brand they're interacting with is consistent. It could be adapted to be the right kind of occasion or spot in the mind frame they might be in, but the consistency of the message and what the brand is about should be there, no matter the situation or where they're encountering it.
How important would you say the relationships with your distributors and retailers are? And
Yeah.
do you see opportunities to help carry out that consistent messaging across all channels?
Oh, absolutely. We can always get better at it. And those relationships are critical, right? I'm lucky that yes, I get to sell, to consumers at our two breweries, but the vast majority of consumers who interact with our brand and many other brands do it because a distributor chose to represent and be part of our brand in the markets where they operate and where a retailer is choosing to place it on their shelf or on their, online portal for a consumer to purchase. And so those relationships are really critical and they play such an important role. And we have to give them the tools of what are the consistent brand messages that we want to show up in those places and partner with them and how we do that through their organizations and their teams.
How do you strike a balance between your wholesale and retail partnerships, which they're obviously cornerstones of
Yeah.
how the industry works, and the opportunity to serve consumers directly and through e-commerce?
Yeah. I mean, especially in alcohol and especially in beer, right? Wholesale and retailer relationships are the vast majority of our business. Do we have a direct to consumer, platform? Absolutely. Is it important? Yes. But I think it's important in the method that it allows us another way to consistently communicate to our consumers and our potential drinkers and consumers. Because I think what we know and see really consistently is many folks, even though they might be walking into their local grocer to make the purchase more often than not, more and more they are researching on that device that we all carry with us at all times. Sometimes they're doing that in the moment, right? While they're in their place of shopping. Sometimes they're doing it beforehand. And so, it's not just about like the path to purchase per se or the point of purchase being direct to consumer, but it's providing another platform and information and a way to engage a consumer so that then when they come to their favorite spot to purchase, that they are able to have all the information they need to be successful in that purchase and for us to frankly play a role in helping close more purchases with our retail partners and our wholesaler partners.
We look at generations younger and younger having increasing demands of really corporate social responsibility and being a good
Mhm.
community partner. What role do you think sustainability and diversity, equity, and inclusion will play in sort of uh, both Sierra Nevada's strategy and more broadly in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, consumers will dictate those things. I think for us at Sierra, they've been part of our company from day one because I think what I love about Ken and the Grossman family is we do it because it's right and what we believe is best and it's true to our values. And the Mills River Brewery, where I'm sitting today and kind of pictured behind me in Asheville, North Carolina, is the first LEED Platinum certified brewery, right? And we did that because we've always tried to have sustainable brewing practices and how we go to market in any way that we possibly can. And we continue to try and innovate and think about that space. And we do it because it's important to us. And that won't change, I think, no matter what the consumer dictates, because it's just something that's personally tied to us. And I think people just follow what consumers are looking for and what our drinkers are looking for overall in that space.
Absolutely. Um, Actually, I would love if you don't mind to pick your brain a little specifically with a really cool and diverse background, ranging from P&G to now Sierra Nevada and many impressive,
Yeah.
honestly, leadership stops along the way. How would you would say that and your engineering background, how does that influence sort of a cross-functional leadership style and your approach to the industry?
Yeah. I think, gosh, it's like a tough question to think through. I think um, because of probably my engineering background and I naturally tend to be a little bit more on the analytical side and really try and take things back to data. And I love understanding what my cross-functional partners are solving for, right? And at the end of the day, we're always solving to the same challenge, right? Of how do we grow our business? How do we serve more drinkers? But how they tackle it and how their, scope of how they might do it is going to be different from me, who looks at it now from this very commercial lens, right? And a go-to-market and approach. And having those conversations, we usually arrive at better solutions, right? Because we'll both come in with different ideas and approaches. But if we remind ourselves that the end goal that we have is still the same, you can usually find a really interesting kind of third idea or solution in there that's better than maybe what we individually would have had. And I think I really learned that approach through my time at P&G, and hopefully have continued to bring it here and just utilize it, throughout my career.
Wonderful approach, honestly. Love it. Um, Finally, if you were to give some advice to other industry leaders or those that are up and coming, what tip might you give them? What advice might you give to the next leaders?
Yeah, to be curious. Honestly, more than anything, just you never stop having kind of that ability to learn, reserving the right to change your mind because you learn something new. And I think you do that by just being continually curious and open to new ideas and questions and areas of exploration.
Well,
Yeah.
Ellie, thank you so much for being with us today. A huge thank you. And for everyone watching, Ellie will be joining us speaking at eBev May 28th to 30th in Indianapolis. We really appreciate today, and we're so excited for your presentation at eBev.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.